Yeah, hello everyone, welcome to this message. So we have the King of Spades today, the Black Joker, the Six of Diamonds, and the Two of Diamonds as the underlying energy. So let's see. So yeah, with this King of Spades. So this means that you decide whether you're going to be having clarity or not. So this makes me think about since you decide whether you're going to be having clarity or not, this may pertain to you connecting to certain forces, like certain external influences or not, I'm assuming. But let's just see. So we have the Joker card is our next card, and this is the Black Joker. So, yeah. So this is that Divine Whirlwind card, this one. So, Divine Whirlwind. So it seems like God is clearly showing you the way forward, because that's usually what that means, right? That God is clearly showing you the way forward, giving you very clear indication of like this is where you need to go. This is the future. This is your path forward. So it should be abundantly clear, like a very very clear green light, right? But at the same time, it should also be very very clear what needs to go away. Also, when you engage with what needs to go away, it should be quite confusing, quite chaotic, potentially, right? So the dichotomy between clarity and chaos, between clarity and confusion, should be quite big in order to clearly illustrate like this is the way forward. So clarity is the way forward, you could say, right? When things are mentally incredibly clear, which is usually associated with a sense of peace as well, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, because this is just talking about that you this is a mental clarity that this is talking about. So it should be very clear to you what the road forward should be, and also abundantly clear what the road forward should not be. That's what this means. And then we have the six of diamonds. So this is our usually where our challenge appears, our obstacle, something like that. Um, yeah. So let's see. So this means that you are making progress, which is kind of peculiar. Like, why would it be a challenge to make progress? So you're seeing, well, I'm going to go with the first idea I had, like that you are seeing tangible progress, very, very real progress, because that's what this card is about. Of course, this is a challenge. So it's kind of peculiar. Like, why would that be a challenge for you to see that you are progressing in life? It could have perhaps a mourning element to it because you are progressing, perhaps. So I guess like the next layer need to unfold to really understand why exactly this is an issue or a challenge. And then we have the two of spades here. So this means like that you are divided between these two worlds, perhaps, because that's what that could mean. Two manifested realities, right? Like two completely different ways of living, which is kind of like this, right? One is confusing and chaotic, quite likely, or has that kind of a nature to it, and the other is likely abundantly clear, very is accompanied with no confusion and a lot of mental clarity, potentially peace as well, not necessarily. Um, So why would there be a division here? It's not an emotional division, it's not a mental division. It's more like there are two different worlds here. So I think it just pertains to that. It's quite factual in a sense. Like there are just two different worlds here, and it's just being stated objectively that there are two different worlds here. The world on the one side of the Joker and on the other side of the Joker, I guess, the red and the black suits. So let's see. And also traditionally, the black and the red suits are like in traditional cartomancy are also associated with more positive and more negative forces in a way. So yeah, so let's see. And then we have our next layer. So here we're going to look at the Kabbalistic tree of life way of seeing this. So first we have first there was nothing, and then all of a sudden we have organization. We have space for ourselves, but we also have organization. These two things very much go together, just like the first message that I was already picking up on. Like that if you have clarity that it is a choice, right? You are the boss of whether you're going to have a clear, unconfusing direction forward and mental clarity, or whether you're going to have confusion and chaos and all of that stuff, right? So you are the boss of that. It means that it is a choice. Right? It should be clear to you what the road forward is, and if you move in that direction, then you're the boss of the fact that you will have mental clarity and things will be very clear and very unconfusing and potentially peaceful. So that's what this is talking about. And this is something that appeared out of nowhere, right? So God gave you the opportunity to have some space, just like, yeah. So God gave you the opportunity to give you some space from this whole situation, maybe also to make it abundantly clear what the difference is between being enmeshed, being engaging in this, and not being enmeshed, not being engaging with this, and what the difference exactly is, which should be clear, like what the difference is, right? What kind of a life existence you would have. So a very clear, non-confusing, clear direction forward would be the right direction here, and it should be very obvious. And this understanding came to be because you got some space from whatever this is, right? So you got some space from that, and as a result of that, things became abundantly clear to you. And because of the contrast, you could say, contrasting experience, and which would be like a night and day, quite literally. And also because it was because you got some space from that, that the order also came back, right? That the organization came back, that the clarity came back, um, which also should clearly state where the chaos is coming from, where the confusion is coming from, where potentially doubt upon your journey or anything to do with that comes from, self doubt, whatever it may be, right? So that's what this is talking about. And then we have this one here. So the Joker card here, the Black Joker, talks about that also the dichotomy between these two things is also that on the one side, this one reality is incredibly restrictive, and on the in the other reality you have space a lot. There's a lot of space for you, right? While on like there's also this dichotomy, right? Like there's a lot of space for you, or you are being highly restricted, right? So so you may feel it also as a sense of freedom to move, which is also part of this other reality, right? The better reality is a reality that is where you are not, where you are very, very free to move in a sense, and it's very clear, and there's space for you. And also, while the one reality is very organized, very clear, has a lot of order in it, the other reality is highly changing, right? So it's quite a chaotic, yes, a chaotic life, but also very like chaos and change, of course, go together, right? So although you can be in an unchanging situation with a lot of chaos, but this is also connected to change. So there will be it will be a lot less predictable. There's a lot of change, a lot of dynamism in that kind of path. Well, this is a much more organized path that probably will have a much clearer structure to it, much more organization to it. So that's also part of that. It's not so very changing in a sense, hence maybe causes stillness more. So let's see. And that's also the dichotomy that wants to be shown to you as well. And then we have this one here, the Six of Diamonds. So what this talks about is why do things also become organized? Because it's more mentally organized as well in your brain, right? Quite literally. So it could also be that if you are a telepath, this could also indicate that you are further removed from people's thoughts as well, which could also be a factor here. And then we have this Six of Diamonds. So this means that you are starting to understand the truth that stays the same throughout change. So there's something about that you are seeing very clearly the source of the change, the source of the chaos, source of confusion, right? So that also should be very clear right now. You should have an enlightened perspective, an ascended perspective on the world you were seeing around yourself, the reality you were in. So what exactly manifested, like what exactly caused, you could say, like created this this kind of world, this very chaotic, confusing, self-doubtful perhaps, or at least there's something about it's the opposite of clarity, right? It's a opposite of a clear direction, of things being not confusing to you, of order and structure and clarity. So what exactly caused the opposite of that should be very clear to you, right? You have an enlightened ascended perspective now and you understand it. And now we have this two here. So this means that you are understanding. So again, there's an understanding here. There's an understanding of these two worlds, that there are two worlds, two different realities, and they are very contrasting in nature. So, and this high amount of contrast shows you that these are two completely different worlds, right? There's one direction that you should be going in, and there's another that you should be moving away from. Um, yeah, let's see. Let's go to the last layer of the elemental nature. Yeah, so this is the king of air. Let's see. So, so you are the one who decides whether you're going to have clarity and a clear direction or not. That's your choice. It's a choice at this point because you have understanding. And you know, you could have organization, you could have space from it all, which causes this order, this structure, this organization, this clarity. So you understand it. And with air, it also has to relates to how you are going to be spreading your impact in the world. So it's going to change your life purpose quite likely. Um, what your impact is going to be on the world will change. Is this going to be a very structured, organized, clear um, impact you're going to be having on the world, or is it going to be quite chaotic? Yes. very dynamic, chaotic, lots of change, no structure, no organization. So, if you want a bit more clarity upon the future organization and structure when it relates to your life purpose, this will be what will be causing that. So, you can already predict just by this card alone that the future will become a much more structured and organized and ordered future, also in terms of the impact you will be having on the world. This will be a much more structured and organized and ordered and clear impact on the world as well. So it has bigger influences than you may think it has to have this influence in your life or not. And let's see, why does this Joker card? It has all of the elements in it, right? So it this could talk about that it affects every area of life. It could be quite pervasive. It could be changing your relationships, your creativity. It could have an effect on your creativity levels, your personal connections, as I said, your love life, um, your intellect, even research has an effect on all of those things. Also, your stability, your amount of clarity, of course. So it has an effect on every aspect of your life, which will all become more chaotic, less organized, um, more about others, less about you, because there's less space for you, right? So you will see that everywhere in your existence. So, for example, you could have stability. This will become um, much less organized home environment. Um, there will be you will be spending more time with others, less with quality the high quality closer relationships. So you will have less time for that. That will also be causing that. So it is quite pervasive, as you can see. Also, in terms of creativity, it will be much more chaotic, much more all over the place. Well, otherwise, you would have a very organized and structured creativity. So would still be creative, but in a much more structured manner, you could say. Um, yeah, it has an effect on that, and also like a sense of stability in and of itself. Like it will make you unstable, quite possibly as well, or less stable. And then we have this one here. So this is talking about that you have an enlightened, ascended perspective upon everything. So things should be clear to you right now upon this world. And you know what exactly causes all of this. It's not a mystery to you anymore. It is very clear what the cause of this is, right? It's cause and effect. So you know you could have a different life, you if you choose it, because of God creating this space, right? So creating this distance between you and that. So you and this influence or this person or whatever it may be, right? Like this substance, perhaps, maybe for someone out there. So anything to do with an external influence, like when you take some distance from that, what what exactly is the effect of that, right? So so you have an enlightened, ascended perspective, and this is Earth. So let's see. So this is the soil in which things will grow. So maybe you could also have a more ascended growth, a more enlightened growth. So as it pertains to the future, it's not just going to be having causing you to have a different impact on the world. It could also be causing you to I'm also getting something about being a stable force in the world. It's going to cause you to become a much more stable, like also like literally cause and effect. You'll you will have a you will because it's like the center of the Kabbalistic tree of life, right? So if you are a leader figure in a certain dynamic family group environment, um, following company, like you, the impact that you will have on that group setting, you will be a stabilizing force there. You will be have a much more impact, you could say, much more stable impact, because you are perhaps the one with the vision, because you have an enlightened ascended perspective, right? So you are the one with the vision, the one who is enlightened, who understands what's ahead, for example, who's a visionary, who can be unemotional, can be the stabilizing force, right? So it will have a lot of effect, I think. It could make you a teacher, for example, as well, a guide to others, a mentor, leader figure, um, like the how do you say it? Like that, the center figure, the go-to figure. That's what it will make you as well. And because you are the center of the Kabbalistic tree of life, right? And also the center of a world. So you could say like a company is a world, you could say, right? Um, Social media, like your life, it is a world. So the center figure of your family, your personal life, your company, your following, your impact on the world, right? So the worlds you inhabit, there you will become a center figure. You will be a stabilizing figure. Otherwise, I guess you could be much more maybe inspired, more chaotic, more dynamic figure, perhaps. Maybe otherwise you'll become in this other world this person that inspires everyone, I guess. But in a very like, I don't think your creativity is going to stop. It's just going to be much more structured and ordered and organized, I guess. So you will keep on having ideas and implementing them, but it will just be very, very structured. So it's going to make you less creative, but less chaotically creative, you could say. So maybe you're going to become less inspiring in a chaotic, dynamic kind of way. So let's see. This is a soil in which you are like growing something. So this is what you are growing in any kind of environment, I would say, in any kind of world you inhabit. And then you have the two here. So this talks about that there are two different worlds, and they are very, very clearly separated from each other, very distinct, two very distinct worlds, and potential realities. You could see it as well, right? Two very different timelines, and it's caused by this influence, right? Whatever that influence may be. It could be a person, it could be a habit, it could be a substance, it could be an addiction, right? Like a toxic influence of some sorts. So it has an influence on you, which is causing these two different realities, potential realities for you. So it has a much bigger impact than you may think, I guess. Um, and you are understanding this as well. So it's no longer it's at this point you have enough clarity and understanding for it to become a conscious choice, you could say. And this is the soul you're going to be growing as well. So it is. I also think it's annoying. Like my glasses keep bumping against the screen of the smartphone. Let's see. So it's kind of like you are this is kind of like you are, like if you see it elementally, this is like you having ascended an enlightened perspective, right? So you're looking down on this reality, you're seeing it from a distance, from an objective distance. That's what this means. And this is talking about that that what you are seeing is that from a distance you are seeing that there are literally two different worlds, right? So, and that these worlds are perhaps separating as well, that there is like a rupture in these uh, in if you like look down on this earth, like you're seeing a rupture taking place between two different worlds, I guess. And you have understanding, right? So it's becoming very, very clear to you, these two different worlds. So both worlds will remain to exist, I guess. These two potentials, but these are also two separate worlds, because there is the world you are leaving behind, and there is this world you are stepping into of clarity, right? But this world will remain to exist in a sense, perhaps for others, right? So let's see. Um, so let's count these up. So we have five. We could see that's 14. I'm going to see it as 5 and 9. So then we have 14 again. It's interesting. So these are connected to each other somehow. These are even numerologically, they are connected. And then we get a 6 on top of that. So we have 20. And then we get 22. So that's like double understanding them. So it should be abundantly, you have abundant understanding. It should be abundantly clear to you. And also that this division is taking place should also be the contrast should also be doubly, like double visible to you, the contrast between these two worlds. This has also been shown to you that the difference is huge. The understanding is there, but also the difference, the contrasting nature of these two worlds is also really, really huge. So yeah. And in the one world, there will be space for you, and the other world, it will be, you will be heavily restricted in that other world. And where you could have a very ordered life, you will have a very chaotic, changing life otherwise, right? So I'm wishing you a very beautiful day ahead, and I hope this was helpful to you. Bye bye.